every time I start to ask a question or think about a question, I think we haven't got enough time to talk about so many things that I want to talk to you about, Betty. Ever analyzed within yourself this urge that we have to fill this hole within ourselves, either with religion or with relationship energy that feels worshipful? It's still, to me, it's almost two sides of the same coin. It's embodied by music artists like Madonna, who brought Catholicism and worship and sexuality together, and Florence Welch does the same thing. She a lot of her imagery is ceremonial and stuff. And I feel weird in churches, but I also feel weirdly aroused in churches. So how much have you ever thought about how much of what you do and how much of what it is being human is the church of humanity, or just put your phone down, turn the television off, let's go out into the forest, let's just be human beings together? And how much of that is our sophistication as human beings, or how much of it is our naivety? You know, I'm like, am I really going right off the rails?
No, that's a great question. I totally agree with you that calling something sacred is a way to give ourselves permission to pay attention to it. And for some years, when in my early exploring days, we would talk about sacred sexuality, and it was kind of a thing. And then I realized, largely through getting to know prostitutes who were not doing so-called sacred work, but were just doing sex work, you know what? It's either it's all sacred or nothing is sacred. Like this kind of sex is sacred and this kind of sex is not. Like, what's that about? That just continues the same split that we already have. This is sacred and it's good, and this is profane and it's bad. Fuck that.
Good girl, bad girl.
Fuck that.
What's the conversation you would have with someone around that?
Of course.
I love that. I love that.
When we are touched, we feel things. Of course we do.
Yeah.
That's what touch is about. And sometimes with some touch, we feel comfort. Sometimes it changes, and it can change in a moment. And this is the nature of human beings with nervous systems and emotional systems. And this is part of the reason that we touch.
Yeah,
and it can totally surprise us. And it can be very deep. The feelings can be amazingly deep. And we may have no idea what they're about. And that is fine. Because that's our nervous system and our brains doing their job.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think we, as much as we can, we want to be have compassion for ourselves, for our feelings, because feelings are just feelings. And a lot of us avoid them because, God, we don't know, we've never been taught what to do with them. The problem is not having feelings. The problem is not knowing what to do with them. And so we avoid all of them.
Why do you think we as a society seek to suppress emotions from the moment children start crying? If they fall over, we go, there, stop crying. That's the first thing we say to kids. So it's all about misbehaving emotionally.
Yeah.
Wow. Because people will never see it coming. For starters, when you do engage with people and say, oh, by the way, I'm really interested in sex, and people think, oh, hasn't it got cobwebs by now? Like, what? Really? You? So I'm trying to change everyone's mind or disrupt the conversation around so many different things. And I know I find it hard to temper my enthusiasm around it. You seem so relaxed.
Well, you're You're doing a great job of talking about it. It's really fun.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you saying that. But yeah, obviously I will include all of the information that people need to get in touch with you and to find your book and your website and all that sort of stuff. And on behalf of everyone in the world, thank you for what you do.
You are welcome. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it was my pleasure. I will